What's going on, everybody? It's another episode of the MMA Complex, and my name is Josh,
And I'm James.
and it is July. God, I don't
16th.
even know what day it is anymore.
July 16th.
2018. It is a Monday night here in hot summer Los Angeles. We're here drinking the Ballast Point again. We're fully stocked, and we're going to be drinking for this probably for at least a couple episodes. But I enjoy it. We both enjoy it. A lot happening over the weekend. You had UFC Boise. You had two Bellator events, 202 and 203. You had a one FC event. You had other events. I mean, it was a busy weekend for MMA. A good weekend, good night of fights. I didn't get to catch all of them, but I caught most of them, I would say. And definitely the highlights for a lot of them, man. Did you catch any of the fights? Replays, at least?
No, I actually.
There's a lot to keep up with.
I was excited to see the Boise card because it was a great card on paper.
Yeah.
He has some big names on there. So Saturday, I was leaving to Union Station to catch the train, and before I left, I set my recorder, my DVR to record. But I was just in a hurry. I didn't notice it said UFC Boise prelims. I just assumed that was just the whole card. And so I really just only recorded the prelims. I didn't record the main
You got
card.
back home as those other prelims.
Yeah, I was excited to watch it. So I get home and then I watch it. Okay, well, this is the last fight of the prelim, so the main card is gonna go into it. And
yeah,
I said, "Do you want to delete now? Yes or no?" Oh, you gotta be kidding me! So I was upset. I don't know why it upset me so much, but I was really upset.
Yeah.
But then I caught the fight highlights on YouTube.
Yeah, you could just go on YouTube basically.
I
They have all
had adjusted what happened.
Yeah. It was a good night of fights. I mean, I caught 202 Bellator 202. I got majority of UFC Boise. I didn't really get to watch 203 for Bellator. Was it on Paramount Network?
They're both on Paramount. Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
It might have been only the stream service. I don't know. To be honest.
I was wondering because it is
Oh no
a European card. Was it tape delay?
It was tape delay. Yeah, because I think the Bellator streaming series. I think the first fight was going to be the McDonald's fight.
Yeah. I figured that it had to be tape delay, so I didn't really too focus on that one. I just caught the whatever highlights were on the internet, basically. But yeah, I caught those two cards, and I thought they were great. Julia Budd. We were gonna plan to have Julia Budd and a couple of Bellator fighters like Steve Cazzola on the show. Scheduling didn't work out. They're still traveling back and all that, so we'll get them on at a later date, probably before the end of the month. We're taking pretty much the week off, at least next week, so we'll be back right after that. I got Comic-Con, and I'm heading out to Hawaii. So back a vacation, last minute vacation. And for those of you guys who don't know, I don't think I've ever even talked about it on the show. Is that we're obviously my girl's expecting.
Oh yeah, you'd be a dad.
We're in December.
It's crazy.
And we haven't really
around the corner.
Yeah, I haven't mentioned that. So she's about like 4 months now, almost, just about. December probably be a Christmas baby, a New Year's baby. But this will be one of our last little vacations before the baby comes.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I still can't fathom.
I know. No, me neither. Me neither.
She's gonna get real in 6 months though.
Yeah, it's nerve wracking, but I'm also excited. Yeah. Also excited, curious, and just. I actually really can't wait till it comes and the baby shows up, because it's like I'm curious to see what it is. Well, I don't even know what it is yet. We'll probably know at the end of the month. For probably the next show, I could probably even say what it is, because I'll probably know by that time. And then just experiencing the whole thing and all that. I'm kind of used to babies a little bit. I have a really younger brother, so I was kind of responsible for a lot of those diaper changes. So familiar with the process, but
your own is different.
Yeah, on my own it's different. I can't just hand them off to my mom or anything like that. Yeah, I mean
you're gonna be responsible for this kid for the rest of his life, or her life.
Or her life. So there's scary. That. So next week we're gonna be off. I'll be on vacation, and then that's it. So this weekend I think there's Shoguns fighting this Saturday, which is interesting.
Yeah,
I'm curious. I'll probably go to a bar to see that.
I think DC wants to fight him next.
Yeah. You should guys come down to San Diego. Check out the con. You've never been, right?
Yeah.
Or have you been? Way back, huh? Yeah, that's right. Should go again. You can
14.
you can you can you can show your girlfriend around. Um, and then we can go watch the fights after somewhere.
Ooh, Ballast Point. Oh, they
Yeah,
would have it over there. Yeah, they would
they might.
actually.
It's on Fox
Yeah,
Sports.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they'll have it.
I want to go.
Yeah, just come down just for Saturday. We'll drive back together.
I can take the train out there.
Yeah, and then we'll drive back home because we're
Yeah.
gonna be back that night anyway.
Oh, sure. Huh?
Yeah,
On Saturday night, you guys will
Saturday. Yeah,
go.
yeah. So yeah, there's that, and then let's get to the fights. So you had um, on top of the fights, you had a lot of drama, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But you had one championship, had an event. You had Julia Budd defeating Noguera. It'd be Talita Noguera by TKO in the third round. You had Michael McDonald defeating Edward Dantas via knockout strikes. It was more of a TKO, but when Michael McDonald landed again, fractured his hand after the fight, so he's like questioning what his future is going to be like. But Eduardo Dantas, when he on his way down, his ankle, he rolled over on his ankle.
So they both got injured in that
So yeah,
fight.
so I think he broke or fractured his tibula or femur or something like that.
That sucks.
Yeah, so he got clipped early, went down, and just almost like how remember how Crow Cop got knocked out by Gonzaga?
Yeah, yeah.
Very similar to that. Not he didn't go out cold like that, but he fell just like that, where his foot went one way and his body went the other.
Well, it seemed like Rashad Evans, right? Because Rashad Evans almost the same thing. But I think
Almost the same thing.
the cage kind of broke his fall.
Yeah, yeah, almost the same way. That was a main event and the co-main event. You had also Veta Arteaga, a former guest on the show, winning. Steve Cazzola, former guest on the show, winning. You had Chris Honeycutt winning, defeating Leo Liet. And that was Bellator 202. That was on July 13th. I think that was Friday night.
Yeah.
You had Bellator 203, Pitbull versus Weichel. Patricio Pitbull winning the featherweight title by split decision. You had Alessio Sakara winning by TKO in this first round over Jamie Sloan. You had Andrei Koreshkov with the spinning back kick. I don't know if you saw that in the first round.
Yeah.
That was sick right there.
The best knockout of the weekend.
Yeah. And overall, pretty decent card. Not a whole lot of fights on that card. That was in Rome, Italy, I think. That was on Sunday. And then you had UFC Fight Night on
Well, Julia
33.
fought over the weekend, didn't she?
Yeah. No, yeah. She beat Talita Noguera and remained the champion, 145-pound champ. UFC Fight Night 133, Dos Santos versus Ivanov. Yeah, Kat Zingano defeating Marion Renault, returning after a while. Chad Mendes, 2-year layoff, TKO and Miles Jury.
Like a beast.
Looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
Coming
back and fighting a tough guy like Miles Jury is no easy task, especially coming off a 2-year layoff.
And he did like a feint left and then came over with the right, something like that. Nico Price defeating Randy Brown. Did you see that? He did hammer fist from guard position basically. They're kind of up against a cage, and Randy Brown was in his guard, kind of looking for like a leg lock, I think. And Nico Price, Randy Brown left his head exposed. Basically, he was up against the cage, left his head exposed. Nico was just from the bottom, hammer fist, knocked him out.
Oh my god,
he knocked him out.
That's crazy.
It was sick. You got to watch the highlights.
I didn't watch that fight.
Rick Glenn defeating Dennis Bermudez by split decision. This is the third loss by split decision for Dennis Bermudez. I think he was questioning his future. The judges have been not going in his favor last 3 or 4 fights. Sage Norcutt getting the victory, knockout punches over Zach.
But he almost got knocked out in the first round.
He almost got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah.
Survived, came back, battled through it, defeated him, TKO. I liked his foot of separating the hands. I think Zach Otto was going for a leg, just separated the hands and then started hammer fisting him.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
Yeah, good fight by Sage. And then you had Junior Dos Santos beating Ivanov by unanimous decision in heavyweight title, not title fight, heavyweight main event.
He got beat up in that fight, but he ended up winning.
Yeah, obviously Ivanov, I think his biggest thing was his conditioning and it being in his first UFC fight, main event, former champion, a little heavy in the gut. I think he always carries that around that weight. But you could tell the cardio was his biggest issue because if he had a cardio and he was confident and that wasn't even a factor for him, I think he would have been
Oh yeah, because JDS got beat up in that fight.
yeah, yeah. Anytime Ivanov really like let loose and went at him, he kind of had Junior backing up and caught him with some good shots, and and then after that he would take a breath and then he would like wait and get shots by from Junior, and
I'm not confident in seeing Junior go like past this fight. I don't know.
Junior's asking for a rematch against Stipe, the three way. So obviously I think Junior won the decision the first time, and then Stipe I think TKO or knocked him out in the second one.
I mean, I'm okay with that fight.
I'm okay with it.
I think CP would beat him, knock him out.
I think so too. I think so too. I don't think Junior is on the level he used to be. I think he's lost a step. And I think he's definitely still good enough to fight off contenders like Ivanov. But once you get to the top 3 or 4 or whatever, I think he's gonna start like.
Yeah, I mean, Stipe obviously wants that rematch with DC, and I don't think it's gonna happen. But it's kind of weird because you're pretty much promising a title shot to a guy who was under suspension.
Yeah.
And you gotta, I don't know. It's just a new model of the UFC, and like they don't really.
I mean, definitely Cormier can get that Stipe fight in between the Brock fight, I think, but there's no way he's gonna risk that title. I think he'll go down to light heavyweight, right? I think he wants to, and then save the heavyweight title for Brock, right? That's what I think he's planning to do.
Yeah, I think DC destroys Brock.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be an easy fight for him because Brock's so big. We don't know what Brock's gonna look like, and he's such a great wrestler that it's.
Can you imagine Brock wins? Like, oh, that'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy. I wouldn't put it past the possibility, but I mean, yeah, that'd be crazy. And if he catches him with a shot, just goes in, and you see Brock hammer fisting Cormier out. Imagine that. Oh, that'd be crazy.
Now that you said that scenario, I can see it happening.
And Cormier doesn't like start off well in heavyweight.
He gets hit going inside.
Yeah.
And getting hit by Brock is oh god.
Now, I think overall, I think it's a fight that Cormier should win, and I think he will win. But I don't think it's gonna be as easy
as people make it out.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting fight.
Yeah.
Even casual people that have talked about it with me, they're questioning whether it's gonna be that easy, and I'm like, oh, it might not be actually that easy.
Yeah, I think Brock's WWE contract ends in August. I think his last contracted appearance would be SummerSlam.
Yeah,
that's in a few weeks. So I think he might just drop the title,
and he'll be cleared from USADA and with the UFC to have a fight in January. So does that mean he can start training in between that time to get ready?
I think
for a fight, and they can just book him.
I think he can. I don't think he can make a living in MMA. But I think anybody's free to train. They can't really stop you from working out.
So if they book it sometime in January, he can train up until that point, like he's training for a fight, and then book it at the end of January.
I think he can do it now, right? I don't think USADA can.
Yeah, he can train.
Yeah,
but I don't think he would go into a full camp. I wonder if he could go into a camp.
I think he can.
I think he can too.
I think they draw the line where you're a commentator or you're cornering somebody. I think that's like you kind of banned for that.
Yeah,
which makes no sense why you can't corner somebody, but whatever.
Yeah. I like the Junior Stipe fight. You can also give Stipe to Curtis Blades. That'll be a good one. Maybe Junior to Derek Lewis. Junior to Derek Lewis. Curtis to Stipe.
Yeah, or even Blades and Stipe.
Or switch those around. Yeah, any one of those combinations I think would be fun.
I think Stipe and Derek Lewis I like.
Yeah.
And JDS and Blades only because you want to slowly build JDS because he hasn't been there for a while, but getting 2 wins in a row if he can beat Blades will give him some confidence.
I think Curtis Blades and Derek Lewis are both like up there in terms of getting the next title shot. 1 win away, I think each. I don't want them to fight each other yet, though.
No, I mean I want to. Yeah, Stipe and Derek Lewis would be a good fight.
Yeah, and I mean it's like
I love Derek Lewis.
Yeah, I like him too. I like him. I like a lot of the heavyweights. I like Junior. I like Junior. Every time I see a Junior, he's just so happy all the time.
Yeah, he's a very likable
Yeah,
character in the mixed martial arts. He's never
never
he's
been a.
like he doesn't bash like even like he has every right to bash Kobe Covington. They both train at American Top Team. Um, but
And he doesn't. He's just
he
like
doesn't.
so
He
such a nice
just
guy.
yeah
Yeah, I like him. I missed seeing him around because it's
yeah.
sad that that's
It's just he's almost a shell of himself almost
yeah.
now. It's kind
I
of
mean,
sad.
he didn't look bad though in that
Yeah,
fight. He looked pretty good. He looked sharp. He didn't look active, and he didn't look like he was like a straight killer. Like
yeah,
but he looked good. You
yeah.
know, he didn't look like he slowed down much.
Yeah, every time I see JDS, I always think of the time he gave me shit for
Yeah.
saying go Brazil, and he goes, "Hey, you're Kane's guy. Get out of here."
Yeah, yeah. Those are good times, man. It's been so long ago. That was like 2011.
Yeah, that was UFC Fox One.
Yeah, UFC
I
Fox
mean, we
One.
were there. I mean, we can say we were there. I mean, we were
Yeah,
there for a lot of firsts
real that.
in
Yes,
MMA.
UFC Fox One, UFC Fox Four.
The Ronda,
The
Ronda
Ronda
Rousey
Rousey
fight.
first fight. Ronda Rousey.
We've seen Ronda fight so many times live.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we've both seen most of her fights in her UFC career
At least half of them. At least a good portion.
live.
At least a good portion of her early fights we've
Yeah.
seen.
I mean, we've been there when Ronda Rousey wasn't let into the building, the Staples
Yeah.
Center. Security
Yeah.
guard, we were security in
When
there.
she was making her way to UFC, there was that
Wayne-
moment where people didn't know who she was, and yeah, we seen security guards not let her
That's
into
why I
the building
posted that picture on my Facebook saying before Ronda was a star. 'Cause
before the start. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's crazy, huh?
yeah. It's
Very
crazy.
fortunate.
Yep, a lot has changed since then, for sure. So there's JDS that, and then there's over the weekend. Obviously, we could probably get into some of the other stuff. The whole Shab and Dana thing
Hmm.
/ Israel Adesanya thing.
It was kind of getting my nerves.
I agree. Israel because obviously
I liked him and I was rooting for him because he came from like glory kickboxing,
yes,
and then now like he needs to like, slow his roll a little bit. And
yes. I think
He's
he's
so
getting a
damn
little ahead of
sensitive.
himself.
These fighters are being they're so damn sensitive.
Yes,
They should just like relax.
I liked Israel. I do still like him, but like this past weekend made me question like his integrity a little bit as a I don't know. It just the videos he was posting up. If you guys don't know, the videos he was posting up. Obviously, you should know. He was posting up videos of Shab talking about fighters coming from one discipline to the UFC and not being able to compete. But that conversation was a part of his critique on Saki, who lost over that same weekend, and not about Israel. And when he actually did talk about Israel later in his podcast, he was kind of praising Israel and how he looked and all that stuff. And I hold Israel to a higher, different standard than I do Saki. Saki didn't put the time in MMA before he got to the UFC. Israel did, and it shows because Saki has like I think he's like he's 1-2 or
1 and 2,
whatever.
yeah, 1 and 2.
Israel's like 11-0 in MMA, and I was like, he's been improving, and looked amazing. So Israel started posting these videos up about Shab, criticizing Shab, and his critique on fights and fighters and whatever, but they were completely out of context. He wasn't even talking about Israel, and Israel's posting him up like he's talking about himself, and it's like you're making fake news basically. You're no better than Trump, man. You're just putting BS out there, and it's like clickbait. And I was upset. I was like, dude, I like them both. I like everybody involved basically, but it kind of like, come on, if Israel did his research, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't do his research, he would have saw that he wasn't even being talked about. It wasn't even about him. But he went on an entire weekend of it, and then like people were commenting here and there, but I think eventually people caught on where it's like, hey, Israel, what are you doing, dude? It's like it's not even talking about you.
Yeah, it makes himself look bad.
It makes him look bad.
And it makes him like he's like a crybaby almost. I mean, because when you're a high level fighter or a fighter in general, I mean, there's always someone to critique you. But in this case, he wasn't even being critiqued by anybody. It's just
He wasn't being
he,
critiqued
he
or
was
anything.
he just
He made something out of nothing.
yeah, exactly. And for him to complain like the way he was,
Yeah.
and even taking it to a platform like Rogan's show and complaining
Yeah.
about it, it's just yeah, it's it leaves a bad taste in
And
my mouth.
what's weird was that I watched Rogan's also when he was on there, and they were talking about the exact same thing. And Israel was agreeing with Rogan about guys who come from other disciplines thinking they can make it in MMA
Yeah,
when they haven't put the work in.
yeah,
And Israel's like, yeah, 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 yeah. And that next day, he posted up a video where Shab was basically saying the same thing and saying that Shab was wrong and saying it. Why didn't you tell Rogan that he was fucking wrong? You know what I
yeah,
mean? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. That's what I thought too. Yeah,
Like you fucking clickbaiter, man. Like,
yeah,
and I was like, you got a little bit of attention, and this is what you do with it.
yeah.
Come on, man. So I'm like, I'm on the fence about Israel, man. I'm like, just seeing that, I'm like, I don't like that. You're barely starting your freaking MMA
Yeah.
career. You're barely getting any really
But the
attention.
thing is, like, you shouldn't even worry about what people say.
Yeah,
Even
that's
if there was, even if Brandon Sharp did say, well, he didn't say anything like
even if he
that, but
did,
if he did,
who cares?
like, who cares? I mean, that's like you have a spotlight on you, and people are gonna critique you on your good days and your bad days,
Yeah,
and you shouldn't have to worry
you
about that
shouldn't
kind of
worry about
stuff.
it.
Just focus on fighting, and
Like,
then if that bothers you that much, then get fight for a title, get a title, or whatever.
I thought maybe are you trying to get on his show? Or are you upset because he didn't invite you on his show while you were in town? Is that like I was trying to think of like why would he even be doing this?
Yeah,
Like, are you trying to get attention? What's going on here? And there was like no motive. It was just him throwing out stuff and like watching little Instagram videos and taking it as like real fact, and it's not actually what was
it's
being
very
said.
childish.
Very childish. And then you had Dana responding on there talking shit about Shab and saying that hey, don't listen to this idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and putting his record. He's 6-5 in the UFC and doesn't know anything about fighting. You know, and this and that. And then Shab's all like, whoa, 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 and then saying that Israel, like actually I think he first responded to Israel saying that no, I wasn't even talking about you. I respect you and you're a great fighter and I'm like looking forward to seeing your fights and blah blah, blah, you're a monster, stuff like that. You know. And then Dana responded and then Shab responded to him saying that, whoa, whoa, look who took a break from folding Ronda's laundry
Oh
to
yeah.
come on Instagram and talk shit, blah blah. And then Dana didn't I don't know if he responded after that. I think he might have. I don't know which one came first. But then Shab put out the whole thing of Dana and the history of him getting money from the Fertitas and the fact that he would be nothing without them and he would be a 40-year-old boxing trainer and then the big part of it was the end part of it with the Eskimo brothers, which everybody's talking about. And if you don't know what Eskimo brothers means, is basically two guys that have been with the same woman
In bed.
in bed and ask and kind of talking about Eskimo brothers. That's what you refer to it as, Eskimo brothers. So implying that basically him and Shab had sex with the same girl, and many people are talking about because Ronda's name was thrown in there that they're actually talking about Ronda, and that both him and Shab hooked up with Ronda at some point. He's like the last warning, and I feel like he's got actual. When I heard last warning, I'm like, what else can you have? Maybe do you have text messages? Maybe snapshots of text messages, or like I don't know, conversations of you and Ronda talking about how she had sex with Dana at some point.
That would be crazy.
I don't
Maybe
know,
that's why
man.
Dana hasn't responded.
So Shab responded on his show. You guys should go listen to it. It was pretty good. We listened to it actually before the show was because I was waiting for his response. But he brought up another thing that I had at least been thinking about. And this is the fact that how long it has Dana's role in the UFC, has that come and gone, and would the UFC be better at this point without him? And what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that statement. I think Dana White did a lot for the sport as far as bringing it into the mainstream and making it global, like he did. But he's so biased, eh, with his fighters and who he's going to promote, who he's not going to promote. That and he has certain relationships with fighters that kind of like I don't, they make it bad. And anytime your promoter is talking crap about you, it's not good. And I think they need to just take him out, put someone who's not biased, who doesn't look at the sport fair and properly promote their fighters. And I think with that, I think the UFC would grow. I think fighters won't jump the gun to Bellator. I think they would stay in the UFC if they're happy. But I think a lot of these fighters are going to the Bellator because they're not happy.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I think so too. And we'll talk about another fighter who's going to head over there soon, I think. But definitely, I've thought about it. I think around the time of the sale, I was worried about the state of the business and who these WME people were going to be and how they're going to run it. And I was happy that Dana was still a part of it. I was like, at least we still have Dana there. Great. But now at this point, it's been what, a year or so, or 2 years?
Yeah.
Or how long has it been? A year, right?
About a year, yeah.
And after time, shortly after that sale and time had gone on, I was like,
he's reckless.
yeah, I was saying he's still up to the same old stuff.
Worse than before.
Worse actually. And the business is kind of is going up and down. And I think this is probably one of the worst years in a long while. And I'm like, I don't think we need him anymore. He's causing more trouble than he's than he's helping the business, and he's causing more stress on the fighters than he's actually helping the fighters.
Yeah, I mean, when Dana White's your biggest star, it says a lot.
Yeah, and I think I agree with Schaub's take on it, and I've thought about it myself too in my own time. I was like, in order for in the future, the sport needs to grow, and it needs to have someone that's respected and that can respect.
I think a lot of the top tier fighters are unhappy because of it, and he's someone that doesn't respect the fighters and someone who doesn't really respect the sport. And I think that's why you see a lot of these fighters make the jump from the UFC to Bellator because, who wants to work with someone that's going to like not only bully them, but talk down to them without giving them the right push and the right promotion. Only the guys who kind of kiss Dana's ass are going to get pushed or going to get that promotion. Anybody else who stands up for themselves are going to get nothing but shit for it. So I think, I think the direction the UFC is going is not a great direction with entertainment first and then sport second. And it shows with the ratings, it shows with like the interest. I think people are only interested when big fights are happening. But for the majority of the time, no one really cares except for the hardcore fans. And that says a lot about Dana and who's running the show. I think you bring someone in who is not biased, but who has knowledge of the sport like Dana, who respects the sport, I think would lead the UFC in a positive way.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the UFC needs somebody that's more respected, more knows what they're doing, knows how to run a sports league, knows how to run sports business, and can be there that respects the fighters and that can take the sport to a different level. I think somebody like, who I always liked in the UFC that's still actually there is I think it's it was Reed Harris, former WEC CEO.
Oh yeah.
Great guy, super nice guy, knows what he's doing, knows the business. I think he'll be a perfect fit to be the general manager or the GM of the UFC. I think he'll be great in that role.
Yeah, I think they need somebody.
But I think Dana's time has come and gone. I think I think his run was great. I was worried about it after the sale, and I was kind of happy that he was still there. As somebody knew what the sport was doing, what they were doing in the sport, it'd be great. But I think his time has come and gone, and the Dana trash talking, treating fighters like shit, talking shit about them, talking shit about people just in general. I think the antics of Dana White are old news now, and I think it's.
But you know what? As much as we both make good points about why we feel Dana should go out the door, it's not going to happen because the owners of the UFC, the WI.
Doesn't he have like does he have a contract, like a short-term contract with him?
Yeah, but those guys love Dana, and I think those guys, they probably think that the UFC needs a Dana White.
No, they don't.
And I mean, people on the outside who know the sport,
you obviously need somebody that knows the sport.
But I think with those guys, I think they're buddies now, and I don't see them letting go of Dana anytime soon.
Yeah, like I know Rogan's on a year by year contract. Dana, I think, is on a 4-year contract. I think, something like that. So we're obviously going to have him for a couple more years. So he's not going anywhere anytime soon. But
he's like a Trump.
Yeah, but I think at some point he's got to go, and hopefully it's soon. And I think once he leaves, I think this sport, at least the UFC, can grow. Because now we're just gonna see fighters leave, pay per view numbers go down.
Which I'm okay with that because I encourage these fighters to go to Bellator. I get a
Yeah,
credential with Bellator, so I'm going to Bellator.
so that's one of our topics right now. I want to get into the other topic of Bellator. People going to Bellator. Bellator is I love Bellator. I don't know, but yeah, like obviously the people they treat us good. People like us good.
Yeah, they
They
love
treat their
us.
fighters good.
Scott Coker is like
Scott Coker is great.
yeah, he's a great guy.
Bellator is a great company, and people are obviously seeing that. Fighters are seeing that, and so you have Cyborg coming out. The fight with her and Nunez is pretty much set for end of this year, December, I think. That's way too far away for Cyborg. Cyborg would like it sooner, but Nunez needs time to prepare. She's not happy about that, and Cyborg saying that this is going to be her last fight in the UFC. Um, Most likely she's going to end up in Bellator. Bellator has a 145-pound champ. They have a belt. They have a division,
An
and
actual
a
division,
Cyborg versus Julia Budd fight would be great,
insane.
insane. I would love it.
It's sad because Julia Budd's not a name that
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know.
So let's say she wins or she loses. Even if she loses, her past accomplishments are not going to be acknowledged by the
I
general
think win or
public.
lose isn't anything for Cyborg.
And if Julia loses, or
No, if Cyborg beats Julia Budd,
it's not going to do much for her. It's just going to be another person.
Julia
Us
Budd,
hardcore people know how important
Julia
that fight
Budd,
is.
yeah, Julia Budd's amazing.
But either way, I think Cyborg is going to make the jump. If she doesn't stay with the UFC, doesn't renew the contract, somehow they don't keep her, I say she's going to the Bellator, and then there you go, another star heading over to Bellator, and then they'll definitely give her fights,
And push her, right?
money,
And promote her.
sponsors.
Yeah, I mean, because the UFC, their division is pretty much two people: Megan Anderson and Cyborg. That's it.
That's it. And they wasted this whole time with her. Like they didn't even build up a division. Get girls, sign girls,
they don't
45-pound girls. They don't give a shit.
It's all 135 pounders going up in weight to challenge.
But they
her.
push Holly like crazy. Give Holly fights. Or title fights. And Cyborg, they leave Cyborg one of their best, probably one of the best mixed martial arts, if not the best mixed martial arts fighter in history, women's fighter in history, and just like she's just there. She's just somebody that they can use every now and then. It's sad. I would like to see Cyborg and Julia Budd at some point next year. I think it's gonna happen. So we'll probably see that. But I mean, this goes to show some of the issues that UFC is having with ratings and scheduling and promoting. And some of these fights, like the Junior Dos Santos versus Ivanov, should be on a bigger platform. But I guarantee you, those ratings when they come out soon are not going to be that great. They're not going to be great.
No.
And they should be decent, like they used to be decent. But they wouldn't even break. They'd probably be the 200,000 maybe range.
I think so. It's sad.
I don't see them doing well. So I don't know. Let's get to some fight picks. We got a fight this weekend. All right, so this weekend, actually tomorrow, you have Dana White's Contender Series on UFC Fight Pass. It's headlined by Macy Barber and Jamie Colleen. You have a few decent up-and-comers on there. That's going to be an interesting fight. Everybody seems to love that series of shows. Obviously, it's on UFC Fight Pass, so if you don't have UFC Fight Pass, you're pretty much not going to watch it.
It's sad.
And then also you have PFL is having their event on Thursday. You have LFA in California, Cabazon, California, at Morongo, I think. Eric Silva versus Barnes. You have Cage Warriors 95 in London, and you have Invicta 30 Frey versus Jinyu Frey versus Mina Grusander. And you have Heather Joe Clark on that card. Alexa Connors on that card. So you have a Invicta card this weekend. Make sure you check that. I think that's on Friday. And then you have UFC 134, Shogun versus Smith. On the card, you have Danny Roberts, David Zawada. You have Mark Diakisi. You have Stefan Struve versus Marcin Tibura. You have Abu Azatar versus Vito Miranda. You have Corey Anderson versus Glover Teixeira. And you have Shogun versus Anthony Smith. Let's go with the main card let's go with the main card. Let's go with the co-main event and the main event. Corey Anderson versus Glover Teixeira. Who do you have?
Uh, hmm. I'll go Glover.
Glover. I'll go Glover. Haven't seen Glover in a while, just a little while.
He's looked good though.
He's looked good. He's I would say he's probably near the end of his career now. He's past 40, I think at this point.
Yeah.
He's like 41, 42. But still looking pretty decent, holding his own in division. So, I'll probably go Glover on this one. Have Shogun Rua versus Anthony Smith. This is a big fight for Shogun. If he wins this, there's a good chance he might fight Daniel Cormier sometime in the fall.
If he wins this fight, I think it'll be 3 in a row or 2 in a row.
I think 2.
2.
But I don't know, 2 or I don't know. But Cormier's expressed interest in fighting him.
Yeah, smart because he's a name. There'll be interest there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Shogun. Not because I like Shogun, so this is a pick more from the heart than anything else.
Yeah, I would say probably Anthony Smith is the most likely the favorite. A young, hungry, tough up and comer. I'd probably go with expecting him to win. But again, I would like to see. I don't even know if I would like to see Shogun versus Cormier. I just figured that would be a beatdown. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting. I don't know. Just for that, just maybe the only reason I would even go with Shogun is to maybe possibly see that fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So that's UFC Fight Night 134. That's this weekend in Germany, from Hamburg, Germany. And that's our show. So we'll see you guys not next week, but the week after. We'll come back with a great show. Hopefully we'll get some guests on there. Hopefully we'll get Julia Budd and all them on there. And that's it. Go to themmacomplex.com. Everything MMA Complex.
Yeah, you can go on social media to follow the show and ourselves. You can follow me on Twitter, MMA Complex James. You can follow him, MMA Complex Josh. You can follow the show on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all under the MMA Complex. All right, Josh, safe travels to Hawaii and San Diego. And
flying,
if anybody sees Josh, if you go to Comic-Con, Josh will be there. Come say hi. You might get a shirt.
I will be there. I'll take some shirts with me.
Yeah. So you guys enjoy next weekend's fights, and we'll break it down, and not this week, but the following week. So until then, enjoy your week. Enjoy the fights.